Welcome, everybody, to the Jive Sports Football Podcast. I am Brandon. I'm here with my friend, Zach. We started off giggling because right before we hit record, I was like, man, we look good. You always got to gas up the homies. So we do look good right now. If you're watching through video, we are recapping week 3 in the National Football League. Absolutely insane early slate. I think they said it's like an NFL record, like 7 games came down to a final score within the last like 3 minutes. Special team fiasco. It was like absolutely insane. It's like somebody turned down the sliders up on the field goal block. A lot of blocked field goals, a lot of special team mishap.
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy, but we will get into it. One last thing before we kick it off. We're entering the final week of our Fanatics jersey giveaway. So if you want to get a shot to get that Isaiah Rodgers or Daniel Jones Fanatics jersey of your choice, simply subscribe to our YouTube, screenshot it, and email it to jivesportstalk@gmail.com as well for an extra entry. Share it onto your Facebook page, shameless plug. Screenshot it, send it to the same exact email, jivesportstalk@gmail.com. We're going to be picking a winner pretty early October 1st and just kicking it off, right? So, Zach, do you have any little bit of flavor text, any little precursor before we just get into this?
Well, something strange happened last week. I was minding my own business, and then like some guy in a mask came in and just like ethered me. And I don't remember the whole last week. What happened?
So there's a gentleman who looks a lot like you, big into lunch meats, calls himself
I know
Captain.
who it is. That's my fucking brother.
I assume you've locked him in the basement because
Man.
he went on a tirade about how the New York Giants were going to handle the Kansas City Chiefs, and we'll get into it.
No, I woke up in a dark room, and that's why I'm in a different setting. Is like I'm scared for my life. Some guy came out of nowhere. And I wake up a week later, and I'm like, I need to find a fucking safe spot, a panic room or whatever.
I'm gonna have to get you.
So I
just as
I can't let anybody know my whereabouts, my location, my coordinates.
Life 360 and the Snapchat
Undisclosed
map are
location until this crazy man is caught.
I'm glad you're safe because this other guy in the mask, he believed in the Giants, and I know you do not. So it's really
I would
nice
never say anything like that. I didn't get to see the Giants Chiefs game because I was kidnapped, but I bet the Chiefs whooped their ass, right?
Yes, but Russell Wilson
Yeah.
definitely made a valiant effort in order to win the game with 4 shots at the end zone. But we'll get into it. I have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. I have to get you up to speed because you've been comatose or like a child called Itted for the last 7 days. So is that a crazy reference?
Well, that kid went through a lot worse than I did.
Did that come out to be fake or was it not?
I don't know, but that definitely didn't happen to me. I was just knocked out. I was not eating shit and food out of the toilet and stuff.
Anyways,
Did you read that book? That is a crazy reference.
So I actually did not read that book. I just know when we were like in school, everybody read that book. I know that's and also if it turned out to not be true, I'm completely canceled, and that is completely tone deaf. There was definitely some controversy about if it was fake or not. I maybe exaggerated. I don't know. We'll look into it. I need to stop talking about a child called It. Anyway, this is the NFL Week 3. Let's
back to
football, right? We didn't even get sidetracked that much. So let's start with Thursday Night Football. It was the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, right? The Mike McDaniel trying to save his job kind of game. And it wasn't as big of a blowout as we were thinking, right, Zach?
Yeah. I can't remember exactly, but wasn't the spread on this like 12.5? They covered.
Yeah.
They tried to keep it close for a while. It's the Buffalo Bills, so what can you really do? Everybody expected it to be a bloodbath anyways, so the fact that they kind of stayed within a range, you can argue that maybe the last TD was a little kind of garbage time TD, but whatever. 10-point loss on the road on a short week against a Super Bowl contender. I think they did okay.
So they did okay, right? But now the discourse is entered. So you and I were like, hey, Mike McDaniel, like he's going to be the first coach to be fired, right? And we'll get into it with another coach that I think has now taken the betting favorite. However, you and I said Mike McDaniel's going to get fired and go be a great offensive coordinator somewhere. Now the discourse has now switched because like people are watching like the all 22 of these games and they're like, Tua is the problem and it's definitely going to cost Mike McDaniel his job. Gun against your head right now, one has to go. Who goes, Tua or Mike?
I guess
Sophie's choice.
I'm saying Tua for his benefit and I guess the well-being of the franchise because I think we've all kind of figured out that he's not like the answer. He's a good quarterback, he's solid, but
Yeah.
he is not a guy who's going to take you on a deep
He's not
playoff
going to
run or a
elevate,
Super
right?
Bowl.
Yeah.
He'd be I think I said this like a week or two ago. He would be the best backup in the league,
Right. Right.
hands
I
down.
agree. And we do know that Tua's realistically not going anywhere. They just extended him, and that was GM's choice, and he's probably not going anywhere. But I agree with you. Gut check. If one had to go, it would be Tua. But
So
interesting
yeah,
to see where they
Bills
go
win.
from here. Yep, Bills win. Right now, moving on to the next. Okay, this is we had the Minnesota Isaiah Rodgers is facing the Jake Browning Bengals. This game ended up 48-10 in favor of the Minnesota Vikings, and it somehow was not even as close as the score suggests. Give a little bit of, I'll start off with this absolute defensive masterclass by Kevin O'Connell, Brian Flores, and the Minnesota Vikings, but also Isaiah Rodgers, right? So we have to talk about the Isaiah Rodgers game because so we're going in. So everybody, like Zach and I are in this dynasty fantasy football league where we have 3 individual defensive player slots, which is pretty fun. And somebody I think has Isaiah Rodgers, and I don't know if he was on the bench or whatnot, but he got him like 35 points or something.
I don't know.
He got so Isaiah Rodgers in this game had more points than the Bengals. So Isaiah Rodgers himself had he had a pick 6, he had a forced fumble that immediately transitioned into a scoop and score, and then he also had another forced fumble that they then capitalized and turned into another score. So he could essentially be said that he was responsible for 21 points in this game.
Well, the
Absolute.
bigger story here, Brandon,
What's
is
the
that
bigger?
uh, the one good thing that Captain Pastrami did, and that you kind of were hinting at as well, is that we predicted the future, or we're
We
from the
did.
future, because after that happened, after this game, because we both said, a chaos take or whatever, that
Team Chaos.
Carson Wentz could actually light the fuse for this team because of what he was in the past. And now I'm seeing people, Sports Illustrated and Albert Breer saying, uh, is Carson Wentz going to force a QB change in Minnesota? And then right after that, it was O'Connell is not committing to JJ McCarthy.
We
We
did it.
willed that into fucking fruition. That happened because of us, and we said it first. Jive Sports.
Jive Sports. We claim that. We said in honor of chaos, following Carson Wentz's career arc and how he was a very good, he was a high draft pick on a stacked team, made to lead them to the Super Bowl, and then he ended up getting injured, and then his backup took him to the Super Bowl, and then he was eventually back for his backup. Full circle, chaos. We're on the Carson Wentz train, 210%, right?
Now that he's not an Eagle, I love him.
He's not been an Eagle in like 5 years, but that's fine.
But I don't think he was given a fair shot anywhere else. I think Kevin O'Connell is smart enough to see what we see.
I still have an old Wentz jersey. I'm here. Let's go for it, baby.
Steelers,
Vikings,
Patriots.
Steelers. Wait, what? Why are you jumping to Steelers? I'm the moderator here. I know you want to talk about Steelers Patriots, but I'm just going by the Google order. Are you cool with that?
Oh, I got looking at ESPN.
Yeah, no, we don't do that. Texans Jaguars.
Oh, here's a fun one. Let me take this one. Hey, Texans fans, fuck you. No, I'm kidding, but it's still
but
bullshit.
fuck you. But fuck you.
I think my pastrami's here. No, it's just bullshit because, dude, I've continuously had people like getting these notifications on my phone. Texans fans still talking shit to me, but the ones that were like in our YouTube comments and TikTok comments, I also had this one conversation with this guy on whatever that show that Matthew Berry hosts, the fantasy one.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a little clip where they were talking about CJ Stroud and Nick Chubb and stuff, and I said that on there. I was like, CJ Stroud's not a good quarterback. He was playing against really bad teams, and a guy came out of nowhere and said, like LOL, crying emoji, laugh thing. You're just a troll. You don't mean that. You're just, and I was like, no, dude, I actually mean this. And I linked our podcast where I say it. And he goes, oh, you want to make a friendly wager on that? And I said, look, if we make a wager on this, I'm still going to be out here because I'm doing this podcast thing. I'm not going anywhere. But if you lose, you don't have to respond. So I'm not going to make a fucking friendly wager with you. But I wonder how much money that guy's lost if he's betting on the fucking Texans. Their offense sucks. It's atrocious. And you said, we don't want to say the A word. It's the A word.
What's the A word? Atrocious?
Yes.
Their offense. So I've been walking the middle, playing both sides, so I always come out on top. I am willing to concede the Texans offense is atrocious. It is not fun to watch. It is not good. CJ Stroud has regressed to a hilarious amount, to the point to where somebody threw out a question that I think 3 weeks ago would have been like, shut the fuck up. And somebody was like, did the Panthers make the right choice taking Bryce Young over CJ Stroud? Like literally. And I'm like, I'm not there yet, but I could be there by the end of the season, right?
Because Bryce, inherited the worst situation possible. He went there
Not
with
a top
nothing.
5 defense and like Nico Collins and taking down all this kind of stuff. Like, yeah,
He had
he went there with
nothing.
nothing, with a box of scraps, and he's figuring it out.
But
And
BTJ still is on a missing poster.
he really is.
The Jags won that game, but they played shitty too. But
The Jags did not win that game. The Texans lost that game.
You can play shitty and beat the Jags. Or the Texans.
You and I might be able to beat the Texans. I'm willing to go into chaos mode because the Texans are 0-3. Insane, right? I also saw a fun stat that the Texans have never made the playoff every single year after the Texans made the playoffs consecutively, right? So Texans make playoff. The next year, this happened 4 times in a row. The next year, they did not win more than 4 games.
Here's another fun fact from our buddy Skyler. He said Marcus Mariota has been a top 10 QB 3 times in the last year on one start. CJ Stroud has been a top 10 QB twice in the same stretch. So
That's it.
Marcus
Wow.
Mariota has cracked the top 10 more times than CJ Stroud has with one start. He's not that good. And context matters. When you're playing the Jags, Colts, and Texans, the last 2 years, not anymore, but the last 2 years, you can do that. You could also kind of make the argument for like Tom Brady because he kind of, the Patriots coasted to the playoffs because you're playing the Jets, Bills, and Dolphins from the 2000s when they weren't good. He was guaranteed to get in, and we love Tom Brady here. I mean, we can joke about shit. He's a Michigan guy,
the
GOAT, whatever. You got to respect him, but he did have the easiest fucking path every year.
He did indeed, right? Crazy reference, by the way. And then the one last thing I want to talk about with the Jags, right? Before we move on to the next game. Travis, so now we're 3 weeks in. So we're past week 1. Week 1 is like we don't react, right? 2 is we overreact. Hey, is this a thing, right? We're entering week 3. Brian Thomas Jr. does not exist. However, I'm seeing discourse come out of the Jaguars community. We're Jaguars today, not Jaguars. I think I just said it the same. Travis Hunter is a much better cornerback than he is a wide receiver. So somebody put side by side his offensive targets and snaps, and Trevor Lawrence is not throwing easy balls, and Travis Travis is still making it work. However, you watch him when he's in coverage, he's sticky. He's really, really good in coverage. And I was always thinking, like, hey, play him as wide receiver and then have him be situational defensive back. I'm comfortably on the other team, but it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
I always
I
thought the
also
strategy with him would be once you get a lead, then just have him play defense and hold it. And then if you get if
that's
you
actually
if you lose a lead, then you put him back on offense.
wow. That's actually
That's what I would do.
if you were a head coach, but maybe you'll get a call. Maybe you'll get a call, man. That's a great take. We are heading into the Indiana Colts versus the Tennessee Titans. Okay. I have a lot of sauce here. I have a little bit of sauce here, right?
I'll let you just let it all out.
The Colts won 48-20. Indiana Jones still a resurgence, right? And now again,
41-20.
What did I say?
48. You're thinking about the Vikings.
I am thinking about the Vikings still. Colts won 41-20 against the Tennessee Titans. Here's a few hot takes, right? Indiana Jones, the offensive resurgence, right? Jonathan Taylor right now is the best running back in football, and it's not particularly close. He's playing like a man possessed. He's really, really good, and he's still the all-boring player that will not get respect, right? So then also, you have to look at the offensive, just the potency here, right? So there's been two teams since 2000, in the last 25 years, right? Decade and 2.5 decades, that have punted less than 3 times in the first 3 weeks. They just score, right? Those two teams are the 2025 Indianapolis Colts with Daniel Jones and the 2007 Patriots that literally remade what we can think of an NFL offense. I'm all aboard, bro. This is so fun. I know they're not going up against like super, super huge competition, which I'll get into in a second, but they're a lot of fun to watch. And I'm like, if Daniel Jones anywhere in my life can get an MVP vote, I'm here for that chaos. I want Daniel Jones versus Carson Wentz. It's a fucking Super Bowl. Put it out there, right? And then the Tennessee Titans. So I'm gonna rip into this guy, and I don't even. But their head coach, right? It's like Brian McNally or something like that. Like he's kind of forgettable, right?
I have no idea who their head coach is.
He's now the betting favorite to be the first NFL coach fired. He actually has the worst winning percentage ever for an NFL head coach within a tenure now. He fell to like 155 or something like that.
He's been a head coach somewhere else?
I think so, right? Again, we're not smart.
I mean, he would have to be because he's 0-3. That would be a 0% win percentage. So how the fuck did he get to?
He was there last year.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he was there last year.
That's how little I know.
But so here's the thing, right? So he took it's what everybody's coming into is like clock management. And I'm of the subtext that if more NFL head coaches played Madden, they would be better at clock management. I think a lot of people like us are better at clock management when we're not like in the ether, right? Than NFL head coaches. So this guy is right before the half. It's like 20 or 30 seconds before the half. And he's deciding if they want to take a field goal. He doesn't know if they're going to go for a field goal or punt or go for it or whatnot, right? And it's like a 52-yarder or something like that. And then he's like, I don't know what to do, right? So then he calls a timeout to decide what to do, right? The team gets back out there, still doesn't know what he's going to do. They're scrambling, take a delay of game, knock it back the yardage, still decide to take the field goal, miss the field goal. The Colts get the ball back before half, kick a field goal before half. Insane.
So I guess I could have brought this up for the Seahawks thing, but I'll bring it up now. These coaches that have these awful teams where you're getting your ass kicked every week and you have nothing to lose. Okay, the reason why I thought about this is because in the Seahawks Saints game, it's just before halftime, the Saints were like really close to like red zone, and there's time's running out or whatever, and he decides to take a field goal instead of go for it. You're down like 33-3, or it's some insanely lopsided score for 38-3 or 38-7, whatever it was. Just fucking go for the touchdown. I mean, if you get it, it's not going to affect the outcome.
Insane,
So
right?
so for that guy to take that much time, like he had a chance to win this game, like, oh, this really matters. I need to think about this. Just fucking, it's not that hard. I would flip a coin right there. We're gonna kick it. The end.
Insane,
The other
right?
thing about this game that I want to touch on is
Do it.
I think I deserve some flowers because for the last 5 years, I've been chanting and rooting and telling people that Daniel Jones is actually really good, but he's got nothing to work with in New York. New York failed him. He didn't fail them. He was working with no receivers. He had no, his offensive line fucking was arguably bottom three every year except for maybe one. And I swear to you, I'd be watching every single game, and there'd be multiple times during the game where he's got receivers lining up in the wrong spots. People don't know where they are. There's too many people on the field. He was basically coaching the offense. Okay, I saw this stuff before and knew that he was capable of this. And every week I'd get these people fucking cracking jokes. Daniel Jones, you guys pick Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley. Daniel Jones sucks, but you guys suck because this was out there, but you let people on TV tell you what to think, and or you just look at the bottom the box score at the end of a game or the ticker at the bottom that says, "Oh, Giants lost again, 31-10," and you're like, "Well, that means Daniel Jones sucks." No, the fucking team sucked. The Giants suck. Dable sucks. Fucking pissed.
Colts are going to the Super Bowl. We're going to the Las Vegas Raiders against the Washington Commanders and Marcus Mariota, right? Commanders decided to win 41-24 against the Las Vegas Raiders. The only thing, I did not watch too much of this game, right? Marcus Mariota apparently did enough in order to get them to win. I know Scary Terry's still out, right? He's still out. Yeah, he's still dealing with a quad injury. He's
Well,
getting
Marcus Mariota is better than CJ Stroud that we figured out.
We did establish that. We did establish that. But the Raiders, it's like, we talk about offensive lines a lot, and we talk about how bad they are, especially the Texans. The Raiders probably have the worst offensive line in football right now, and maybe the worst in a amount of time, right? So they take such a high draft pick on Genti, right? He's been hit this season behind the line of scrimmage 57%. That is ridiculous. It's not even like there's like a linebacker, like a D-back or something, like seeing gaps and just punching it. They're just collapsing immediately. Do you know how hard get hit behind the line of scrimmage more than 50% of the time? He's averaging like his yards per.
There was a stat.
Bad.
There was a stat that says he has more yards after contact than he has yards.
Yes. Insane. Insane.
If you think about it, it makes no sense, but it's because he's getting hit behind the line, and that's when that stat starts. So he's getting hit behind the line so much that he has more yards after contact than he has yards.
Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane, man. That's all we have to say about that, right?
Well, I have something to say. You said in your little, because I was watching this the last show with Kevin Pastrami, and you said if um Daniels plays, they win. If Mariota plays, they lose, and didn't want to do that. And I said I'm taking the Washington Commanders no matter what.
And did I say Washington Commanders no matter what too?
No, you said Raiders.
Fuck. This isn't a pick show. Don't yell at me yet. That's for tomorrow. That's for tomorrow. But I did lose that one. Golly. Los Angeles Rams against my Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. Eagles won 33-26. It was a 3.5 point spread. The sneakiest, most disgusting backdoor cover ever. So there was a crazy stat. I'm gonna butcher this, right? But the Rams managed to score. They were somewhere in the game in the first half. Our offense, I told you, was looking anemic. It was looking garbage. They weren't doing anything, right? Kevin Patullo, I'm gonna kill you, right? In the first half, the Rams scored 3 times before the Eagles got 3 first downs. Like, it was that bad. It was an absolute mollywhopping, and we enter the half, and I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. Well, I know exactly what's going to happen is we're going to lose because our offense is anemic and we're getting exposed, right? And then something happened, and apparently what's coming out of the Eagles camp and whatnot because they don't want to say anything like too egregious about their offensive coordinator. They're not going to say bad things about Kevin Patullo right now. It's game 3, right? But apparently Jalen Hurts had to do a lot of play calling. He had to do a lot of audibles and checking and whatnot like that. And they come out of the gate. I think the Rams had a 96-97% chance to win. It was like 28-7 or something like that, like entering the 4th. And then the Eagles end up coming up, right? They end up, they come up, they tie it up, and then obviously we all know how it ends is that the Rams line up for, I think, a 47 or yard field goal, something like that. We played prevent defense, put them in there, and then Jordan Davis breaks through the line, blocks this kick that would have won it for the Rams, and returns it all the way as the crowd's going crazy, hits 18.5 miles per hour at 330 pounds. Absolute fucking cinema. I want to know what you think about this because this is literally a legendary game. Like, this is going to go down like Miracle at the Meadowlands type shit. I promise you.
The fucking Eagles always get this shit. I don't understand, but they've got to be the luckiest team
It's not luck.
in,
It's not luck.
in all of sports because these things happen every year, and it's always the Eagles getting on the recipient of it.
So not true. We lost the Super Bowl on a bullshit holding call. Are you kidding me?
God. Oh,
so no,
we're not a ref and flag show.
We're
but
not.
This type of shit happens all the goddamn time for the Eagles.
So did you know in the third quarter the Eagles? So the Eagles, they did something different this game, right? And they put Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis right in the center, right? And then I'm no coach, right? But they blocked 2 field goals this game, one being the game ender and the return, right? But they blocked 2, which doesn't usually happen. Post game, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, they said that they were sitting there and they were watching the snaps, and they're like, this guy has a low angle. And they're like, this guy has a low angle, and if we overpower this one guy, one of us is going to get through the chute, and one of us is going to be able to put our hand up at the right time and block it. And they said they saw that like in one of the first drives, and they go on to block 2 field goals, and then to win it. That's so electric. Fuck you.
Anyways, for these games like this where you have like 2 really good teams, or even if they're 2 really bad teams, I never bet on games like this. I'm only pissed because in our picks, I took the Rams to win, and they had a chance there and didn't. So if you're betting on games like this, you are a fucking sicko because it's really hard to tell. Like if I'm betting on anything, I try to bet on things that I feel a little more confident in. But I'm not going to bet on 2 teams that could be Super Bowl teams. So
yeah, it's silly.
I mean, you're flipping a coin at that point.
But real quick before we move on to the next game, and this is good. We don't have to ramble. Sean McVay and Nick Sirianni. Who would you say is the better head coach?
McVay.
Okay. Do you know what McVay's record is against Sirianni?
Probably like 0-3 or something.
0-4.
Well, who's had the better teams the much more stacked roster the last?
No, we're not looking at context and nuance here. We're looking at raw, hard Twitter stats, and that's all I want to talk about. Birds by 100. Fuck you. Falcons, Panthers.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
What the fuck? If you show me somebody who said they saw this coming, I show you a dirty fucking liar and you get out of my face, okay? Panthers beat the Atlanta Falcons 30-0. No. It's worse than that. The Falcons never even made it past the Panthers' 30-yard line. They never made it into the red zone.
And then they released their kicker to keep this Parker Romo guy, didn't he? He missed a couple kicks.
He did miss a couple kicks.
And then the Giants picked Young Ho Koo up.
Yep. Just an absolute, I don't know what they're doing here. The Panthers defense actually kind of stepped up, and they said after the game, by the way.
Kinda?
Yeah, kind of, right? After the game, they're like, we were just thinking about it. And we just it was why put this guy in the media conference, right? And they're like, what happened? They're like, we're all just kind of looking at each other and we just got fired up. And it's like, what are we doing here, dude? That's your media answer. But I guess if it works, right? And here's another fun fact before we move on to it. And we're not doing the alarm bells on Michael Penix Jr. just yet because I have him in Dynasty and I'm trying to manifest because that's all I have left. Michael Penix Jr., is 0-4. 0-4 when the other team scores 7 or more points.
I'm gonna tell you guys a little secret here.
That's insane.
He's left-handed.
Oh, that's the ick.
There's been like there's Steve Young. That's your list of good left-handed quarterback.
Vic?
Terrible.
What?
Terrible quarterback.
I don't have enough fucking left-handed quarterbacks don't make it in the league unless you're Michael Vick or Steve Young.
Michael Vick didn't. He
Do you know
he
who
was
else is
he was
lefty?
a highlight reel because of his runs. No one's ever brought up a really perfect Michael Vick pass. He can throw the
Yeah.
ball 200 fucking yards, but he can't hit water if he fell out of a boat. So
No, I literally talked about it 2 days ago with somebody at work, completely out of context, and they were like, "Hey, guess what? Michael Vick is a good thrower. You want me to show you that clip where he throws it to D-Jax? Just fucking launches it. Get out of here.
he can throw it
Dude.
forever, but he sucks as a quarterback.
Fuck
telling
you.
you.
Want to know who else is a left-handed quarterback?
I don't know.
Tua.
Huh. There you go.
But do you know the story about Tua being left-handed? Do you know this?
There's lead in the water in Hawaii.
Considerably worse. The true story is considerably worse. I don't want to say too much because I don't know him personally, but apparently Tua's dad is not the nicest person. He's hyper competitive, right? And he has a set path for all of his kids, and he's like, "This is where you're gonna be," right? Tua is right-handed. Tua, turn the ball over, is right-handed in every facet of his life. His dad, from a very young age, beat him into submission and said, "You're going to throw the ball left-handed because it's going to give you a competitive advantage because nobody knows how to defend against left-handed quarterbacks." So Tua does everything else right-handed except from a young age. His dad is like, "You're going to throw left-handed because it's going to get you a competitive advantage."
That's true in baseball, but not in football. You fucking moron.
And now, 20 years later, we're saying he should get fired over Mike McDaniel. So, thanks, Dad.
The reason why it gives people a competitive advantage in baseball is because the ball's coming from a different angle than they're used to. But when you're doing that in football, it's fucking your receivers up. You're confusing them.
You're fucking the lineup. You're fucking everything up.
Because in baseball, you're trying to confuse the batter. In this context, your wide receiver is the batter that you're fucking confusing.
Are we fired up today? Did you have a coffee this morning?
I'm just irritated.
Steelers Patriots. All boring game. Steelers win 21-14. I don't recall anything about this game. I don't recall a damn thing.
I'm flipping around and I thought I don't know. Not a whole lot exciting happened here. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie and pretend like I have all the highlights or watched the whole thing. But I thought the Patriots had it for a while, and then all of a sudden I checked the score and it's Steelers 21-14. And we both took the Patriots, and that's not how it went. But Rodgers didn't have that great of a game, and so I don't know what happened, just defense. Looks like they recovered 4 fumbles.
Holy
Patriots
cow,
fumbled the game away.
Wow.
They lost 4 fumbles. Ramondre Stevenson fumbled twice, Gibson fumbled twice, and Drake fumbled one. Or Gibson won, May won. So yeah, they just fumbled the game away, literally.
All boring game. You get the stamp. If you're a Steelers or Patriots fan and you're tuning in for high-depth analysis, you won't find it here. Packers Browns. This is a fun one. So the indestructible, undefeatable, I said they're going to the Super Bowl favorites, Green Bay Packers, lost to the Cleveland Myles Garrett's in defense, 13-10. This is another one where special teams was kind of the play of the game at the end. Packers lined up for a go-ahead field goal, right? And the Browns ended up blocking it, and then they marched down the field, and they managed to kick the game-winning field goal. So, super exciting. How do you feel about this? Except the fact that if the Cleveland Browns had an actual quarterback, they would definitely be a contender.
I love it because
chaos.
Well, it kind of hopefully helps people calm down a little bit about the Packers because over the last 2 weeks and even before that, it was already deemed that the Packers had won the Super Bowl already. We can go on to 2026. And, you still have to play the game, you know. At some point, the bell's gonna ring, and you actually have to do the thing that you've been saying you're gonna do, or that people are saying for you. And as I'm not I understand nobody ever said that they're gonna go undefeated, but it's still not just as simple as signing good players and then that's it. There was
Mhm.
the infamous, Eagles dream team,
Oh
there's
God,
the
don't even.
'07 Patriots. Bringing in, stars does not automatically mean that everything's gonna go the way you thought it was. So as everyone calm down, Packers still good, I'm not concerned about them, they're gonna be a playoff team, but hopefully this settles people down a little bit. Calm down, take a breath, let's see what actually happens on the field.
What rational analysis? That's good. Everybody calm down, but they're still really good. But the Browns, I mean, they're no longer like they're no longer a bye week. Don't check them off, right? And we'll take that into consideration when we make our picks heading into next
I mean,
week.
well, if you do that little deal where, this team beat this team and this team beat that team, so that means this team is better, the Ravens beat the Browns, what, like 30-10 or whatever it was?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the Lions just beat the Ravens pretty handily, and the Packers beat the Lions. So I mean, maybe uh, we've gone so far, we've gone around the world, and we're coming back to where we began, and maybe
We love it. We love
the
parity in the
Packers
league.
still got to play at the Lions, and we'll see what happens there.
We will see what happens there. Moving on, we have the Jets fell. Tyrod Taylor led New York Jets fell to the Buccaneers, 27-29. I sound like a broken record once again. Special teams. The Jets were down 2 or 3 scores entering the fourth quarter, and I was watching Red Zone. I was hosting a 5-year-old's birthday party. It was absolutely coconuts, and they had not shown the Jets game at all. And I'm like, okay, it's done, right? Jets block a field goal and they return it for a touchdown and they get Big Mo momentum in their favor and they almost tie this one off against Baker Mayfield and his patchworked offensive line. Um, fun game. Buccaneers still find a way to hold it out. How you feel, Zach?
Here's me being wrong. I love Baker Mayfield. I hated this guy, and I think it was more or less, just being a crazy fan because I hate Oklahoma, and I wasn't so sure he was, he kind of had like this fiery attitude. But
Mm-hmm.
holy shit, is he fun to watch? And like 3 weeks in a row, game-winning drives, ice in his veins. I'm a fucking Baker Mayfield guy now.
I fucking love
Full
it.
full 180. I was wrong about Baker Mayfield, and I am sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Mayfield. I was wrong about you.
He sees the light. He's a believer.
I was wrong. You see that, Texans, how easy that is to do?
Man, a man brought to his breaking point. I love it. We love Baker Mayfield. We're officially a Baker Mayfield podcast. Broncos Chargers. The Denver Broncos fell in an AFC West little battle to the Los Angeles Chargers, 23-20. The Chargers aren't only so I saw this and like I'm trying to think and I think it's right. The Chargers aren't just 3-0, they're 3-0 in their division. That's crazy. That's a very, very strong start to the season.
Absolutely. And the Broncos are quickly finding themselves in trouble
Yes.
because they got Bengals next week. That should be okay. Then they got the Eagles at Philadelphia. And then it kind of cool. You got Jets, Giants. So they do have a really soft stretch here. But towards the end of the year, when things are like heating up in playoffs and shit, they end their year with, like 4 or 5 out of their last like 6 games are going to be divisional games versus the Chiefs. 2 games versus the Chiefs, Packers, Raiders, and at Washington. So they're going to end the year on a tough stretch. They really need to in the next 4 weeks,
Pile on.
4 or 5 weeks. They got to win like 5 of their next 6
Jeez.
to
Their
have
back's up against the
to
wall
have a
already.
chance.
Their back's up against the wall already. Bo Nix has regressed. Sean Payton, and I've really been using the running game too much. The defense has regressed a little bit.
Yeah, he's an
It's
idiot. Use RJ Harvey. He's your best
please
weapon on offense. You don't fucking use him.
please use RJ Harvey. And the Los Angeles Chargers is a story of actually, so it's a story of two things. It's a story of Quentin Johnston being exactly who they wanted when they drafted him out of TCU, right? And also, or was he Washington? He was TCU.
Yeah,
And
TC.
then, yep, and then Bronco. Oh no, no, and then I keep saying defense, right? And then the oncoming of the defense, and everybody was kind of like the Chargers, so and so, but like Derwin James has emerged as one of the best defensive players in the league right now. Harbaugh's playing really, really good football, utilizing both parts of the ball. Super cool. Najee Harris, we have to say, suffered what season-ending Achilles. Off of a non-contact, just a football move. Did you actually see that play? So he actually he takes the snap and he does it with somebody, they call it a ghost step or something. So actually I didn't even know this, but a lot of like ligament tears and like Achilles tears happen when you're relaxed and then you go to do a move. Right. And if you watch the snap, and again, we're not a medical podcast or whatnot, but I just thought this was interesting, right? He's like kind of like laissez faire. He's not like he isn't like tense, right? He looks a little soft and then he does like a step back and then he launches and then boom, it pops and he falls down, right? And people are like, if he would have already been tense and like ready in explosive mode, it wouldn't have happened because I guess the muscle's already ready for it. Super strange, but so he falls right down, and Justin Herbert's on a drop back. Herbert's on a drop back and he looks and Najee's down and he jumps over him and still makes the play and then tends to him, which is kind of, that's incredibly heads up and also a little morbid, but Najee Harris is out for the season. So unfortunate. It's a Marion Hampton time, right? New Orleans Saints versus the Seattle Seahawks. That apparently you're so passionate about. You thought we already talked about this game earlier. The Seattle Seahawks beat the New Orleans Saints 44-13. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the greatest wide receiver of all time. What do you have to say about this game? I know you have one particular thing to say about this game.
I mean, I don't want to get too deep, but Torrey Horton, you may remember. That's
I
funny.
do. I do. So hang on. So go back if you're an early listener, week one or even preseason, we were just bantering,
It
and
was
you're
the
like
very first episode.
and you're like keep an eye out for Torrey Horton, and I'm like, who the fuck's Torrey Horton? And we actually even tried to make it a bit that was Torrey Horton watch. I thought he was such a
You tried
jag.
to make it a bit because you thought this guy was a nobody.
I think it was just a guy. And now every single time I see his damn name or he pops up on Red Zone, I text the group chat and I'm like, Torrey Horton sighting. He's going crazy.
But no, I mean, this game, it happened. It went the way I thought it would. I mean, maybe a little bit more of a blowout than I expected, but I brought up the little like the halftime field goal thing earlier. Maybe I'm more upset because I have Alvin Kamara, and I'm just like, I think it was like 4th and 2 or fourth and goal from like the 2 or 3, and they're going into half and to kick a field goal, so just hand it off. Like I'm trying to get some fantasy points. You're fucking losing by 30 points, and you're not going to win anyway. So just try it.
Just go for it, man.
But Torrey Horton, JSN. I was right about JSN and Dick Hammer's grandson. I'm right.
You deserve your flowers for the Seattle Seahawks. You do. You do. I'll own that. A lot of flowers. This is growth. This is maturity because we're giving each other kudos, but we're also taking shots when we need to.
Well, look, everybody's going to be right and wrong. Nobody's going to be right all the time. Clearly, I was wrong about the Lions, and we'll get to that. We're probably running out of time, so we're going to have to probably pick up some of it tomorrow. But
no, don't worry. We have the next few games are very boring. Sorry. Spoilers. We're gonna get into it. We're not cutting off time. We're on a roll right now.
I thought you said you got to go at noon or something.
Yeah, we're fucking. They can wait. Fucking, I have an interview as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, but I'll just say I'm on a call and it's running late.
Well, I've been trying to like speed things up and not say all the things I want to say because I thought we're short on time.
Cowboys Bears,
dude.
What do you have to say about Cowboys Bears? Chicago Bears beat the Dallas Cowboys 31-14. Get right game for the Chicago Bears. Get right game for Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. Andre Swift tries to shoot a dirty free throw on a flea flicker, and then he hits Caleb Williams, goes up for the ball, sends it to Luther Burden. Absolutely electric play, shows signs of his downfield accuracy and all this kind of stuff. Are the Bears actually decent, or is the Cowboys defense that bad?
Look, I have no idea. These Bears are fucking schizophrenic. Like I don't know what they are. They won't tell us. So
We're asking.
I I I've I think I have a good idea about every other team besides the Bears because this is what I think that they're capable of doing. But we're 3 weeks in and they've done it once and the other games have looked terrible. So I guess there is some growing pains with the new coach and everything, so we'll see how it goes, but I guess I wanna take some credit for Caleb Williams too, because I think maybe he watched Captain Pastrami's, kind of analysis of him last week where he said, he doesn't wanna play football and his heart's not in it. I think he watched that, and that's what got him fired up, so I think I deserve some credit for that too.
You do 100%. I think he took it to heart, right? Very fun. They're finally just be a fun team to watch, and I'll figure the rest out, right? Just be a fun team to watch, and they were fun. The Cowboys aren't fun. CeeDee Lamb's dead. Fuck the Cowboys. Cardinals 49ers. The Mac Jones 49ers. The 49, like the joke is like the 49 IRs. Like I think it's funnier in text because all their players are dying. The 49ers managed to eke out the Arizona Cardinals 16-15. Mac Jones is exactly as much of a
Who
game manager as Kyle Shanahan wants. Marvin Harrison Jr. is not a good wide receiver right now. How do you feel about Marvin Harrison Jr.? That's all I can think about during this game.
I think I mentioned it before, like in our probably our first episode, 'cause that was the NFC episode. I don't know if it's him or Kyler, 'cause I think Kyler is, super streaky. There's always been these questions about how much his heart is in it because the whole video game joke and everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Because for his size, 5'11" or whatever he is, and, maybe 200 pounds, he's got a fucking rifle, you know? And he's super athletic and fast and, can do everything you want a quarterback to do, but then the game starts and he is, like, very pedestrian, very average, no he might have 1 or 2 exciting plays every week, but then, like, everything else is just bleh.
So I was actually right. I was actually at the bus stop this morning. I was dropping off my kids, and there's a dad there that does a fantasy league, a few of them, and he's a huge Lions fan. He actually knows ball. Sometimes when you're talking to people and you're like, you don't know ball, but I'll still like play with you. This guy knows ball, right? And we were talking, and so I'm like, what other games do you watch over the weekend? He's like, what's going on with Marvin Harrison, man? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. And I actually said exactly what you just said. This was this morning, right? And I said, I don't know if it's Kyler or if it's Marvin Harrison. And he's like, there's a world to where it's both. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, I just don't think they gel well in an offense. He's like, so you got to think. He's like, Kyler Murray, where does he excel? Out of structure. He's fast, he's scramble, he's slippery. He'll scramble around behind the line. He'll get like 50 yards behind the line of scrimmage running north to south, east to west, and then he'll find somebody out of structure, right? And he's like, Marvin Harrison Jr. is more of a timing guy. He's like a step, go, right? And he's like, Jared Goff would make him probably a perennial all-pro, right? And he's like, how come Trey McBride how come Trey McBride's the number one person on the offense right now? Of course, he's an incredible tight end, but tight ends tend to thrive in the out of structure play, right? So it's like, I'm like, wow, maybe they're both a problem. Maybe they're both nice people. They're just not good together. Something to think about, right?
We should get that guy on the podcast.
We should get him on the podcast. I was sitting there and I'm like, the kids are going crazy and stuff. And I'm trying to listen to analysis right now, kids.
I was trying to think of, because this is his second year. So he would have been his quarterback would have been like Stroud for a couple years and then, or like a year or two, and then Will Howard? Who was the quarterback
Kyle
before Will
McCord?
Howard?
No.
Anyways, yeah, maybe he strives in a pocket passing style.
Which we don't have right now. So, Chiefs, Giants. Chiefs.
What about it?
Chiefs win
Next.
22-9.
Next.
The Chiefs, Again, it's not even really that the Chiefs won, just the Giants lost, right? And there's one reason why the Giants lost, and I'll get into it right now. The Kansas City Chiefs already have a super, super boring offense. We kind of just touch on with Kyler, but like Mahomes doesn't really have any big playmakers right now. It just Mahomes magic, figure it out, running game non-existent, all this kind of stuff, right? But Russell Wilson gave up on the New York Giants this weekend. He completely gave up. That's why I tried to call back. I'm like, is the Cowboys defense that bad? Because Russell Wilson put up 450 yards, moonballs, made Malik Neighbors like one of the top scoring fantasy wide receivers of the week. And then there's a chance for them to win this game. And they have four. They not win the game, but they have a chance to get a touchdown, right? You want to talk about your New Orleans Saints? Talk about your New York Football Giants. When Russell Wilson's on like the 3-yard line, he has 4 shots at the end zone, and each time he throws it out of bounds, and then the last time he throws it at the crossbar. How much do you hate this guy right
So let me try to be the the dad, the the bus stop dad guy. My analysis of Russell Wilson, and this is, I think this is kind of been, this is what has made being a shorter quarterback a problem that people talk about during draft time is, and that's why Kyler has to scramble around. He can't see the middle of the field. Okay, he can't see over his line. So everything is either on the outside, you know, and deep, or just to the flats or whatever, because that's all he can see, because there's not a lot, there's empty space out
there?
there.
There's fucking or 6'6" people in front of you, and you can't see shit,
Because
dude.
he's like 5'11", maybe
Mm-hmm.
6 foot and the guys in front of him are all
On his Tinder
6'5".
profile, yeah.
So everything has to be on the outside or to the flats. And now that he's in his, he's older, everything's just a deep shot, and that's why I think the whole Cowboys thing was just a blip, or yeah, I don't know, uh, it was just luck, just
Yeah,
pure
an
luck,
anomaly, yeah.
that he happened to connect on 4 or 5 of those really deep balls to Wandell and Malik and everything, and it worked out for him statistically, because when it mattered most, he fumbled that lost 8 or 9 yards and threw a terrible deep, just somebody's got Malik's over there somewhere meme, and blew it. So, I had no expectations for him coming in. If I was the Giants, I've said this a dozen times before the season started, I would have, you eat the 10 million, because it doesn't matter anyways. You've already paid him, but I would have started Jameis and then let Dart come in after Jameis, because Russell Wilson is not helpful to a team anywhere. He once again can be a great backup if he wants to stick around a couple more years, but he is not a starting quarterback in the NFL anymore.
He isn't. And I
He
think officially, right?
and as a Seahawk, things work because their defense was lights out, Legion of Boom, everyone knows that. And then Marshawn Lynch was the closer, and he was a game manager. And I'm not, that used to be a more
Complimentary. You mean that
like
complimentary, not derogatory.
yeah, it's not disrespectful, because that's your job as a quarterback anyways. He made plays. He did what he had to do, and he put up solid numbers his whole career and stuff, but without a number 1 defense and one of the best running backs in the game behind him, Russell Wilson's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
He isn't. And he's
Okay,
playing his way
so
out of a good
so
legacy.
anybody who thought that Russell Wilson was gonna make the Giants better hasn't been paying attention. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. But it did usher in the Dart era. We are going to see Jackson Dart sooner than we probably expected. I think a lot of people were kind of hoping it would go one more week, because you don't want to put him against the Chargers, but uh, hopefully he
Forged
knows,
by
hey,
fire.
hey, Dart, this is me talking to you. If you play poorly, dude, don't let it bother you, because you're playing against one of the best defenses in the league, and it's okay. Let it rip.
I'm sure that's going to console him in his time of need. And our final game in our final NFL Week 3 recap, the Detroit Lions beat the Baltimore Ravens 38-30. What do you have to say about this game?
I mean, it was worse than that too.
It
Um,
wasn't that close,
I'll,
you
I'll
say.
probably go. I'll probably go more in depth on my crow that I owe maybe tomorrow or something, because I have a couple ideas of how I can cleanse myself
Peas.
of that sin, atone for my sins, because I was wrong about the Lions. And I loved watching that game because, I was in the group chat too saying, dude, I love 18, 19 play, 98-yard drive, 10 minutes off the clock. I'm getting goosebumps. I
Dude, I
fucking
literally just got goosebumps. That just smash mouth grindhouse fucking football.
just ripped their soul out. Can you imagine being on the defense and there's nothing you can do and you're out
Nothing.
there for 10 minutes and they just fucking chunk you to death?
And by the grace of God, you finally stop them on third down, and then they roll out the offense to go for on fourth. I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Dude. Oh my goodness. I love
That's
that kind
good
of
eats.
football.
That's good eats.
My Giants in the early mid 2000s with Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw and Derek Ward.
Yes, yes.
I used on Madden, I'd just be fucking running every play, and I don't know. I love that. They have not lost a step without Ben Johnson. Week 1, I even said, as the Lions detractor, this is a divisional game, week 1 on the road. It's probably meaningless. Let's not lose our shit about it. And since then, they've put up 52 and 38. That's 90 points in 2 weeks. And I think somebody said that's more points in 2 games than they ever scored with Ben, because they were the highest. The
I
Lions
could.
last year, I think, or the year before, were like one of the top like 7 scoring offenses all time, or maybe, I don't know,
Yeah, it's a
maybe even
lot.
more than that, the top 3, maybe number 1 or whatever. But they are just who they were last year. They're going to be like a 13 and 4, 12 and 5 team,
They're gonna be okay,
maybe more than that. I
and the
think I think
Ravens are gonna be okay too.
I
But
think the floor for the Lions would be like 12 and 5.
I think like I could put that on the line, right? Also give a little kudos to the defense as well. Sack Lamar 7 times. Forced a fumble on Derrick Henry, who has now fumbled in every single game this season. Something to watch. And also, it's insane. It's insane. So, and we're not going into the picks just yet. However, and I am correct, the Ravens and the Chiefs play next week. And who would have thought? Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are one of them's going to leave that game 1-3. That's crazy to me. The Ravens are going to be fine, but Lions are a good team. I think so. I don't know. We're going to have to sleep on that
I
one.
do. The one thing that kind of hurts my heart about the Lions is I don't think I can watch them anymore, though.
Why?
You want to know why? It's the fucking commercials.
Are there bad commercials?
All the commercials that play during Lions games are awful, man. Especially the ones that Lions players are in. Like there's
I
there's
guess I
that
don't
one
pay attention.
there's that one commercial with I think it's like Eric Poe. It's this guy that like started like an auto insurance company, and he's like in this room and he's talking with like Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And it's the most like he comes across like a con man, snake oil salesman, because it's like the most like politically correct, professional, fake,
It's canned and
shitty thing.
sterile.
He'll be like, so Jared Goff and Amon-Ra will be like, so what made you get into the auto insurance industry? And Eric will be like, well, uh, we got tired of being sacked by other insurance companies, and so we
Oh
decided
my.
to create our own safety by protecting our blind side,
Oh
and blah blah blah.
no.
And Amon Ra and Jared Goff have to sit there, and they got to pretend like they're fucking amazed by this auto insurance policy, and they'll be like, "Well, you got anything else to say?" And Eric will be like, "Go Lions!" You're
That's
gonna be
so.
fucking kidding me.
I,
And then
I, I,
you know, he sounds like, when you're that fake, you're like a
oh,
movie villain. Like that's what the con man or thief or robber or
such
whatever
an ick.
that that do in the movies. And you think people are going to trust you when you can't even be your fucking self? Be yourself, you know?
Yeah,
And then
we'll figure it out along the way.
everyone's boy Dan Campbell, you know, doing those Sam Bernstein commercials. It's always like Sam Bernstein will come up there and be like, you know, we protect bikers because we are bikers or whatever. And I'm like, you want me to believe that this fucking nerd is a biker? And it's always the most, once again, like the fakest fucking shit. And Dan Campbell's got to keep a straight face. And, you know, here's a guy that was at that uh, head coach press. They're talking about biting kneecaps and stuff. And now he's all buttoned up. It's like, I don't know. Here's what you do, Sam. If you want to actually get people to buy into you and believe you're a real person, not just some fucking nerd, here's an idea for a commercial. I just thought of this. Have a have Dan Campbell be on a motorcycle, because you can believe that. Have his big scary ass on a bike, and somebody's like, you know, hits him from behind or whatever, and he like, you know, walks over to the guy that hits him. He's about to pull him out of the car, right? And then you can have Sam Bernstein step in the middle and say, "Hey, no, you don't do this. Let me get this for you." And then have Sam Bernstein hit him and say, "Let us, you know, protect. You know, let us handle this for you." You know,
Is that fresh off the dome piece?
that's a better commercial? I just thought of that.
That's 100.
You can, I could, if you gave me 10 minutes, I'd probably come up with a better one. But quit trying to be so, like, just be yourself. Be real. No one's buying this. I will actively avoid. There's another commercial, this like equipment or hardware store or whatever, and it's more local. It's a smaller business, but I won't go there because in the commercial, because they're like trying to link it to football. It's two guys like sitting on stools, and in the middle is a little table, like a coffee table, and he has like a bowl of wings. And one of the guys picks up a wing and he takes like the smallest little like nibble off of it because he don't want to get food in his mouth. Look, if you're not gonna eat the whole wing or like eat it, just don't have it in there. Cause you look stupid. Who eats like that? But I like for the insurance shit, like the whatever, like the Eric Poe thing, I will actively choose Flow or the Geico Gecko over you. Those are the jokes that are aware that they're jokes. You're a joke and you don't know it. It's fucking embarrassing.
I'm Brandon.
I guess that's my dad joke for the day. I don't know.
That's our NFL week.
Be yourself.
Be your fucking self. Great analysis. We'll be back tomorrow with NFL Week 4 picks. I can't even try and top that. Be yourself.
Go Lions, knuckle bump.